I used to be a massive stretcher, even as a baby. Like, my mum was like, all you basically did was sleep and occasionally wake up to stretch and then sleep again.
Dude, that is so fucking metal. I bet you were a shredded baby. You were like one of those Renaissance painting babies where they were just like, well, I'll just take an adult man and just make him like a foot tall. Now I'm imagining you exactly how you look now, gigantic beard, just in a crib,
you're
being like, Mum.
Naked, obviously.
Hello and welcome to episode 67 of the MisanthroPod. I am Snipe, and as always, I am joined by Wib. Say hello!
Hello?
And Robber Matt, say hello!
Hello!
He gets it.
I'm not engaging in this.
How are you lovely spooky boys today?
I'm okay. How are you, Matt?
I'm well. Snipe, are you well?
I'm fine. I'm feeling pretty spooky today.
Yeah, like you're continuing the theme of Halloween as a state of mind.
It really is, and this is the hill I'm gonna die on.
You're gonna try and drag that all the way to Christmas.
Honestly, I just want to ignore Christmas exists. I just wish it was just the second Halloween where people buy you things that isn't candy.
I mean, that's in essence what it is, right?
No.
Yeah, but it doesn't. You don't have the spooky theme everywhere.
Yeah, it's like I want vampires to give me like presents. I don't want fucking Santa Claus to. He's a dumb bum.
Okay.
He's got this big tax dodge up in the North Pole, and I'm quite frankly sick of him.
I mean, yeah.
He employs seriously, do you really think he adheres to labour laws?
Well, no, we know that he has an enslaved race of peoples.
Exactly.
That
So
he uses to make.
Whereas vampires, you know where you stand with
toys.
vampires and werewolves and mummies and fucking whatnot. But Santa, he's the real villain here.
Yeah, you don't know where you stand with Santas. Also, there's not like a mythology of his weaknesses.
Yeah, it's like, is he like allergic to silver? Do crosses ward him? We don't know that. We won't ever know that. Because big government doesn't want you to know that.
But does that not make him more scary, which makes him actually better for Halloween?
Yeah, but he's not like the cool kind of supernatural scary. He's scary like big government scary, where it's the most boring scary. You know what I mean? It's
Well,
like,
he's boring, scary, like large conspiracy theory scary.
yeah. Well, not even as cool as like, the lizard people or fucking whatever. This is more like tedious, like flat Earth kind of like scary.
Okay.
Where you're like, people can't actually exist like that, but they do, and that's frightening, but in a really boring kind of way.
So we've been sick and have not had the opportunity to do the podcast for a week, so I presume that's why Sniper's got the sillies today.
No, I'm trying to get our viewers woke or awake, because that was grammatically incorrect.
God damn it. So we missed a week of podcasting.
Mainly because we were fucking dying.
Yeah, has your guys' lurgy? Has it calmed down to the point where I'm probably not going to catch it via Skype?
I don't know, this is Skype.
Because at one point I was genuinely worried that's how bad you seem to be.
Honestly, we were that fucking bad that we were just infecting electronics in a 6-foot radius.
Yeah, it was a bit rough, especially because it affected both of our voices pretty heavily.
Yeah.
So
I got really sick first, and then my voice was basically unusable for at least 4 days. And then just as my voice had gotten like to a passable level, Wib's voice plummeted and crashed and burned as well.
Yeah, it was basically when you went and streamed, like, to basically see if your voice would hold up for, like, recordings and things.
Yeah, because that was... we were going to suspend the podcast recording by a day, and I stream on Thursdays with Long Fang. And my voice was still pretty croaky, but I could do it.
Yeah.
And we played for a few hours, and it was okay. And then we came in, because Long Fang stopped, which is a different topic. But yeah, we came in to see you, who was painting in the other room, and you were like, "Hi, guys!" And we're like, "Oh, shit, okay, yeah." We'll tell Drummer Matt that we have to cancel recording, because Jesus Christ.
It was really weird, like, basically, over the course of you streaming, my voice went from being normal to just being horrible goblin voice. It was ridiculous.
Yeah, but on the plus side, you could do a wicked Ian Watson impersonation.
There is that.
Yeah. So it's all worth it. And it's not like your job depends on your voices anyway, so...
I know. It's fine.
It's not like we need to, do work or nothing. It's fine.
But yeah, so apologies to everyone for this podcast being
Sorry
a week
that our
late.
immune systems just couldn't keep up with your grandiose expectations of us. Maybe you should have,
You should have more
more
achievable standards for us.
for our personal immune systems. Whatever. I kind of forgot where I was going with that.
Yeah, I
It's
noticed
fine.
that.
Nah, whatever.
But anyway, so we should probably talk about the stuff that has been going on.
Yeah.
A couple of general things to mention. So, as Snipe just mentioned a moment ago, Longfang came over to visit us for a week.
That was fun.
So he was round. Shockingly, did not seem to get ill, despite us both possessing.
He was
the worst.
already a little bit sick.
You mean his?
So it's his fault.
No. He had a different illness. Completely different illness.
His illness fought our illness, and his illness won, presumably because it was the Scottish variant, which
So
is
it was
just,
way tougher.
yeah,
That's fair.
It's yeah. But it did mean we went and did a couple of things that we haven't done for a while. So we went to Warhammer World for the first time in a long time.
Yeah, we went to Warhammer World with grabbed Unity and had a wander on down.
Yeah,
And we saw Warhammer World after all the renovations.
yeah, because we've not been
Ooh.
for years and years,
No.
despite living relatively close to it.
What have they done?
The whole frontage of it has been completely renovated.
They've got like as you go in on the top, it's a shop now. And as you go onto the game floor, just to your right, there's a Forge World shop.
Mm-hmm.
They sell where the shop used to be. They kind of extended that over the top of the steps where you walk in.
Oh, okay.
And as you walk in on the bottom floor, they've put a lot more armies and stuff. And there's souvenir coin machine, so you can get an Imperial or Chaos coin. So obviously I got one because that's really cool. And and the Bugman's Bar is basically the same.
Yeah, it just means that there's a lot more
Temptation.
temptations there, and they've only had to remove one line of game tables.
Yeah. But it's they sell mugs and fucking shirts and stuff now. It's dangerous.
It is a dangerous
Very
place
dangerous
to go.
place to be.
But yeah, so that was nice to go. I actually saw Gav Thorpe, and I apologised to him, so that was good.
I know. I was like, oh my god, that's Gav Thorpe. I'm freaking out.
I was
I don't even have any alcohol on me to take a shot.
He has forgiven us for the Gav Thorpe drinking game. So I just like to put it this way: we've been forgiven for our sins. Have you? Something we can say.
Yeah, but what a thing to say.
But yeah, so we had a bit of a game there where
It was a big one.
we had a big game where I used my orcs, basically the biggest force I could muster out of the new stuff that's out. Because obviously a lot of my old stuff can't quite work anymore, and I haven't rejigged my Nob squad and things like that yet. Against
You can't rush rejigging your knob.
yeah, I
You
know.
can't. That's a very dangerous
You'll
thing
pull
to
some
rush.
Against Snipe and Longfang using Snipe's Space Wolves.
Yep.
And Unity using my Blood Angels. So that meant I was being charged by all my Rogue Trader models and stuff that are in that army,
Nice.
so that was fun.
That game took forever, though. I mean, it was
It
a lot
did.
of fun, but it took a long fucking time.
Although it has meant you've decided you're going to have a bit of a rejig of your army to something kind of interesting.
Yeah, I've decided to kind of basically have a Walker-focused army. So I'm going to have
Cool.
5 or 6 Dreadnoughts and an Imperial Knight, and that's going to be my army. Which is 1,500 odd points or something.
Around that,
Yeah.
So that's going to be interesting because you've already got I think you need one more dreadnought to be able to actually run that.
Yeah, because a very nice gentleman, Barry, he sent me one in the mail.
Yes.
So I have another Dreadnought.
Nice.
So at some point we'll have to pick you up the one of the Space Wolf specific ones. That'd be
I
cool.
mean, yeah, I guess.
if we have to. But yeah, so Warhammer World, it's cool.
Yeah, but we didn't say how the game ended.
Oh yeah.
So, I controlled the Dreadnoughts, because of course I fucking did. Longfang controlled the rest of the Space Wolf forces, and Unity controlled the Blood Angel boys. And it was a very long fight, which came down to 2 of my Venerables, which is Luca and Baldo. basically just ping-ponging between a bunch of, like, orcs.
It was more
There's
specific.
one with, like, a power claw, which was very worrying.
More specifically, it boiled down to a small squad of boys and a couple of trucks fighting a couple of dreadnoughts, and that does not go well.
It ended up, like, I think Boulder was the only unit any of us had on the table, any of the, like, Imperial side had left. So it was just my Venerable Dreadnought versus... Oh, what was it? It was like a truck and a small group of boys.
Yeah, it was like 3 boys.
Yeah,
so...
and luck, like, it just managed to wipe out all those boys in the truck.
The more important thing is that he ended with 1 wound left.
Yeah, one.
Yeah.
I think they have, like, 7 or 8 wounds, Venerables.
I think 6 or 7. I think it's 7.
I can't remember. I was too busy high on the adrenaline being like, I'm punching my way out of orcs. This is wrong.
So, yeah, it went as down to the line as it could.
It was crazy.
Nice.
It was so much fun.
It was one of those fun games where on multiple occasions it looked really obvious one side was going to win, and then it went right down to the line. So it was
kept
a
snapping
fun
back.
one.
It was great. Oh, there's another thing Warhammer related.
Yes.
We both entered a painting competition at our local GW.
Yeah, you did.
Yeah, with the little like £5 blind boxes.
Yeah, Space Marine Heroes.
Space Marine Heroes. Yeah, like they were like, oh yeah, with the release, like we're having a painting competition. So buy one, paint it, bring it in, and we'll have like a competition. And I was like, oh cool. So we both entered, and I did a space pupper.
You did
in like the in pre-heresy colours because I hate the modern day colour. I hate this baby blue talcum powder bullshit. It's so fucking ugly and I hate it. And Wib, being a fucking capital H hipster,
a capital H hipster.
Hipster.
It's like I kept saying when I was like during the Resident Evil Revelations 2 stream, I kept going, oh, it's Anne Herb.
Don't do that.
Because I hate people calling them herbs. Unless you're French, that's fine.
Apparently, because it does derive. That's where it derives from. The actually pronouncing the H.
Well, I looked at it on my ordinateur, and it said you're a bitch.
Oh.
Yeah.
But
it
apparently,
said your husbando is le bitch.
I don't think it does.
It did.
I think if you
actually.
use the computer, it would say something.
No, that was the ordinateur.
It probably says something along the lines that pronouncing the H is actually quite a new invention.
But yeah, he decided to do a space shark. No, not a car Sheridan. A space shark.
Yeah, I did explicitly a Rogue Trader era space shark, including doing the red helmet stripe and, all of the iconography from that.
Yeah, if you guys haven't seen it, it's on the @Snipe and Wib Play Twitter, which is basically just Wib's personal complaint and Star Trek Twitter.
You're not wrong.
Hey, no shade.
When Games Workshop tweeted about it, they didn't call it a space shark, they called it a car Sheridan.
Well, then they're like fake fans and we should just like crucify them. Games Workshop are fake fans of their own thing. Fucking make me sick.
In fairness, they didn't tweet about it because Games Workshop doesn't understand how Twitter works, apparently.
That's fine. They Facebooked about it.
Yeah, it was on
was it Facebook? Sorry.
Yeah, it was on their Facebook.
But like, I immediately knew. Now, this is the thing. Like, I entered the competition not because I thought I was going to win, and I'm not being like a Debbie Downer or nothing about it. It's just I entered it because I need to put myself out there more, and I think that's a very healthy thing to do.
Absolutely.
So I was like, yeah, I'll do that. I don't expect to do anything. I'm not a terrible painter, and I'm not as good as Wib, which is fine. He's like just really way better and more skilled at me at this. So it's like that's fine. And like I knew immediately I was definitely not going to win. Not that again, this is not a problem for me. Don't worry. When you handed it in, and the guy he double took, snatched it from your hands, and looked close and went. Is that a car Sheridan? Can you paint my army? Is that freehand? Or is that a transfer? And he went, it's freehand. He went, is that freehand? And he started freaking out, and I'm like, oh, okay. I was just kind of like, no, that's fair. Like the first time I saw his freehanding skills, I acted basically the same because they are inhuman, and I don't know what chaos god you've sold your soul to be able to paint that well.
Malal.
Oh, I knew it.
Yeah.
Whichever one it was, it's then given you a horrible disease. So.
Oh shit! Yeah, Nurgle answered my prayers.
But yeah,
one chaos god answered mine.
So I won, basically.
It was really funny. Would you mind if I expressed how we found out that you won?
Oh yeah, sure.
So Longfang was going back, and we went in on the Sunday. So, like, while we were walking him to catch his bus, we had enough time to pop in and collect the models, which I felt really bad about just walking in and leaving a model at the store. I felt really weird. I was like, I feel this is. I want my baby back, and I felt really kind of strange. But yeah, so we go in, and we're like, "Hi, can we, like here's our like tickets, our numbers. Could we have our models back?" And they're like, "Yeah, sure." And Wib was like, "Oh, could I just quickly ask like if you've picked a winner yet?" And like the guy turns around, like he's very kind of like he's looking for the model. He's like, "Oh yeah, some guy called Matt Ward." And I pointed at Wib and I went, "It's him!" And he looked up, he was like, "Really?" And he was like, "Yeah, it's me." And he was like, "Oh, congratulations, the Space Shark! Oh, was that a transfer?" Like, immediately the first thing, he's like, "Is that a transfer?" And he's like, "No, it's freehand." And the guy's like, "Freehand! Oh my god!"
Yeah, it was the whole thing.
Was it the same guy?
No, it was a different guy. Yeah, it was the same guy, he just has a memory of a goldfish.
But yeah, so yeah, that's the thing. I won a tiny little trophy, which was
golden gobbo.
Which was just a golden gobbo stuck to a bunch of dice.
It was really cool. That, and like, to be fair, there was like 10 entries or 12.
An amount of entries.
Yeah, and all of them were really cool. Like there was someone who'd used like texture paint on the model, like on the pauldrons and stuff, which was actually I think they did really well.
Oh
with that.
yeah, to make it look cracked and stuff. It's actually a technique I've been wondering about trying out just to see for like Nurgle stuff. And yeah, it actually kind of works.
No, it worked really well. There was one guy in there because like on the day before, like the people would go in and vote.
Yeah.
And like we were looking at it, and I was like, wow, I've got a marine I painted in the case at my local GW. Oh my god, this is so fun. This is so fun. And this guy came up, he was like looking at like the things. He was like, yeah, okay. Look at this one with texture paint. He was like being a real salty asshole about it. And I was like, you entered, didn't you? And you're just trying to like downplay everyone else. Fuck you, dude.
Yeah.
But no, there was some really good like Marines in there. I'm surprised, seeing as it was a painting competition, we didn't see any Lamenters though. Because that's usually the chapter to pick if you want to show off your painting skills.
I would be tempted to, if they did another one, to do a Lamenter. Just
do a fucking Lamenter.
Because yellow's a pain in the arse to paint, and
It's the
the
worst.
checks are a pain in the arse to paint.
Yep.
So, but anyway, that was the thing that
was a
happened,
lot of fun.
and that was fun.
But I'm glad I got my boy back, so he can sit there. I'm very proud of him. I finished him.
Yeah, he's actually a Marine that you have finished.
Yeah, and I've decided to change the
Great Company. Because what was it you put?
It was Logan Grimnar pre-Great Wolf. So it was like a wolf.
That was what you used to have.
That's what I used to have. I'm changing it to Gunnar Red Moon's company.
Good.
Because I was going to do Morkai for that guy, but that is so hard to do at that scale. I just went, fuck this, I'm doing Gunnar Red Moon because it has a skull. And, you know, I kind of like them. Skulls.
So that does mean that most of the models in your Space Wolves army that you have finished, now you have to repaint the company icon on. Just putting that out there.
Yeah.
Fine. I believe firmly that should you complete more than 4 models in your army, then your head will fall off or something.
It is a very real concern. But yeah, so that was a bit of fun.
Anyway, we should probably move on to the...
Okay. Drummer Butt, what have you been doing, friend?
Bits and bobs.
Okay, great. Husband.
I spent the majority of last week, although when this is out, I guess 2 weeks ago for your listeners, I ran a marathon. As you do, because apparently I like to hurt myself. So I spent the week afterwards basically lying down, which was quite good fun.
That's completely fair.
I spent the next week lying down, which was quite a bit of fun.
Yeah, it was. I basically finished Truck Simulator as much as I mean, it's an open-ended, you can't ever finish it, but...
Just any addiction.
Achieved my goals.
Nice.
And watched a lot of Critical Role. I'm up to episode 111.
I still need to watch it so hard. I'm terrible.
So that was fun. I felt like I beat my personal best by about an hour and 50.
Nice.
Good.
So, I mean, the previous only other marathon I've done was the wine drinking one, which I think I mentioned on here, where you drink like 21 glasses of wine over the 42 kilometers.
Which is, that's fine. I mean, like they always say the most important thing during like exercise is to stay hydrated, and that's what. If you want to drink wine, I mean, it's liquid, right? There's water in wine.
It doesn't really count as a good time because that's not the point. But I can say that I beat my personal best by quite a bit, which is quite nice.
Dude, that's fucking rad. I'm proud of you. You done good.
But yeah, I couldn't move for the next week, so I just spent it trucking. But because I finished that, I finally got round to playing Stardew Valley.
Yay!
As I got round to us, that suggests that I was in the past tense, and it's definitely in the present tense.
Are you playing
I'm still
it right
playing.
Now?
I want to be.
Yeah, no, it gets you like that, I'm afraid.
It's so good. I think we've spoken about it before, but oh man, I knew it would be my sort of game, but I just hadn't quite got round to starting. But it's great.
Tell me about your farm. What's it called?
I think it's like Drumblebee Farm or something. I can't remember.
Mine is Happy Dino Farm.
Oh yeah, that's good. I think it's something I can't remember because you name it right at the start and then it doesn't really ever come up again.
Yeah.
So, very rarely.
Well, I mean, it comes
I remember my animal names.
Your animal names?
Yeah.
What animals do you have?
So my dog is called Dogter Octopus.
Yes.
Good. Because. Yeah.
You don't need to justify that. That was amazing.
And I only have 2 chickens for now, but one is Hen Solo, and the other is Princess Leia.
Yeah, I remember you telling me about those, and they are amazing, magical, and I love them.
They're the best chickens.
They are amazing.
They don't love me, though. I don't know why.
It's okay, you need to go in every day and right-click on them.
I do.
It just takes ages.
Yeah, because I was looking up on, cause it was taking, I've had them for, quite a few seasons now. I was like, why isn't it going up? And I looked and I was like, every time you click, it goes up by 10 or 15 friendship points, and after about 100, that's meant to be the first half, and it still hasn't appeared yet. And I'm like, I don't think they like me.
It helps if you need to feed them every day. You need to let them out during the day.
Yep.
And shut the thing at night. You need to pet them every day, and also if you put a heater in there during the winter.
Yeah, I don't. I currently don't have a heater in there.
Yeah. So I think that might be holding you back there.
Maybe.
But
it's
lovely,
pretty great.
I think the chickens are so cute. Oh, and if you get to 8 hearts if you get to become really good friends with Shane, you don't have to romance him. You get access to a special type of chicken, and they're so lovely. I have so many of them.
Yeah. No, I'm trying with Shane, but he's a grumpy butt to start with. Every time you talk to him, he's just like, fuck off. And you're like,
he really is.
But I want to help. I want to be friends.
In fairness, that's very much like our friendship with you, except we're the grumpy ones.
Yeah. You're like, hi, can I help you? And we're like, no.
No, we're beyond help.
We're going to be sad in this pile over here. And hiss at anything that moves within a 6-foot radius.
My current top friend, I sent you a picture earlier. I accidentally, my top friend at the moment is Linus, the random caveman tent liver person.
Caveman tent liver. That's my least favourite Ultraman villain.
He should live in a cave because he dresses like a caveman, but he lives in a tent.
He lives in a tent. Yeah, that's fine.
Caveman tent dweller sounds like it should be a character from Monkey Island.
Yeah. Yeah.
Guybrush Threepwood, that's a stupid name.
Well, what's your name?
Mancomb Seepgood.
There you go. Caveman tent liver. How appropriate. You fight like a tent. But yeah, so you can't romance Linus, but who you
but that's fine. I don't know. I'm getting to know them first because there's quite a few cool people.
No, that's true. There's so many desirable
dramatic. There's a lot of because you can romance whoever you want basically out of the 12 options, and there's 6 female and 6 male, and I'm like, well, whatever. I'll just see who the nicest person is.
Yeah,
but basically, most of the guys are a bit weird.
Elliot's like a creepy sea-dwelling hermit that just writes romance novels all day.
Okay.
He's the bitch.
Yeah, I never got that far down the romance trees, honestly. I was going for whatever the purple haired
Abigail.
Yeah, she's cool because she does band things and she does gaming things and
she's pretty cool.
My initial aim was Maru, who's the scientist.
Oh, Maru is so cute
because she's cool.
She's so lovely.
But also now I want to save Penny because she lives with her grumpy mum. Oh,
you can do that without really. There's a certain thing you can do, to help without having to romance her. So,
but I mean, you don't romance until the last For those who don't know, you give them gifts and talk them. If you talk to people, it like bunches their like friendship points up, which is like an abstraction of their friend level. So the more you talk to them, or if you ignore them for like days on end and don't talk to them, it slowly drops apparently or something.
Oh, I haven't encountered that.
It's very slow, but if you just don't talk to someone for like ages, it will slowly start going down.
Okay.
And then you can give them gifts and things, and like some gifts they love. And I'm min-maxing the gifts process. It's amazing because everyone except I started off giving because like you can try and learn what people like and what people don't, but that's a faff. So basically, everyone with the exception of like 2 or 3 people like flowers, and I was like, oh, that's a safe gift. I can just grow a shit ton of flowers.
The majority, all of them quite like eggs.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. That's what I've learned now. I've run out of flowers, so I was like, okay, I need another universal thing. And it seems like basically everyone likes anything that's an artisan good. So anything that you make, so any of your jams or pickles or oils or anything.
Everyone but Harvey hates pickles.
Okay, well maybe pickles.
Like, if you give pickles to someone, they will actually spit on you. If they're not Harvey.
But in general, people seem to like the artisan goods. Mm-hmm. And you can make, and the cheapest artisan good to make is mayonnaise.
So are you just spreading your mayonnaise around town?
I'm just wandering around town with like a sack full of mayonnaise, giving it to basically everyone. And everyone's like, oh, you're the best. This is such a nice present. And I'm like, mayonnaise.
You're like a mayonnaise-based Santa.
Yeah, it's amazing.
Terrifying.
And because
I think wandering around the town with a bag full of mayonnaise may, in fact, be the podcast title.
No, it's a sack full of mayonnaise.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, a bulging sack of mayonnaise. So I just go out and give indiscriminately. Actually, no, not indiscriminately, because there's like... you can't give your mayonnaise to the children.
Good.
They don't like mayonnaise. And there's a couple of other people. I think it's the like various grumpy teenage boys don't like mayonnaise.
Oh god, like Sebastian is a dick.
Yeah,
and
he just
honestly,
doesn't like anything.
He doesn't like anything. He's such a dick.
Yeah, I feel like I just want him to like... I feel like he could be a good person once he stops being that I'm so cool and brooding thing.
Yeah, that's so tiresome.
Whereas who's the football playing one?
I don't like him at all.
He's a complete bellend.
Oh, what's his name? Sam?
Sam, maybe?
I want to say Sam. But yeah,
he's just like, I just bought a new pair of shoes. I threw the old ones away because, I'm a terrible person.
Well, like, I go up because I go up and talk to him. Like occasionally, I'll be like, "Oh no, I should try and get to know him." Oh, Alex is his name, or something. Whatever.
No, there's Alex and Sam. One of them's cool and is in a band and likes
Alex,
noise
I think,
music
has the Super
and
Saiyan
skateboards.
Hair. Or is
I can't remember which one's which.
Hang on, I will quickly check because someone will be like, "Eh."
Okay.
Yeah, no, it's definitely Alex, and like every time I kind of like sit there and go, I'm gonna go and talk to Alex and see how he's doing. Last time that happened, I was like, "Hey, Alex," and he was like, "Hey, girl, you own a bikini? You should definitely get into that bikini." And I'm like, "Okay, now I remember why I don't talk to you." Like he just talks like he just is such a creep.
Yeah.
I'm like, ugh, no, don't like this guy. And then there's Haley as well, who is just like, she ends up ignoring you the majority of the time. She's so fucking rude.
Oh yeah, she's kind of the worst as well. She's like, "Oh, you smell." I'm like, well, "Okay, I won't give you my mayonnaise then."
It's okay, guess I'll take my mayonnaise to your sister. How do you think about that?
Maybe it's that you're wandering around on a summer's day with a sack full of mayonnaise.
A bulging sack full of mayonnaise.
That's why you smell.
No, the best bit about this game is that crops don't get old. You can keep as many in a random like chest as you want, and it's fine.
Yeah. So like Drummer Matt can have 3-year-old mayonnaise busting out of his sack, and everyone
still
loves it.
Everyone wants it.
Everyone wants Drummer
Can
Matt.
we move on from Drummer Matt's mayonnaise?
Okay,
my very last point on Stardew Valley is that if you are playing, you should befriend Linus and his 4. I think it's his 4. You get like various friendship events as your friendship hearts go up. His 4 heart event is amazing. I don't know if you guys got that.
I think I have, yeah.
He invites you into his tent. It's amazing.
Oh god, yeah. Because he's just happy because you gave him all that mayonnaise and he wants to pay you back.
Yeah.
With his mayonnaise.
No, that'd be weird. Come on. That'd be weird.
But yeah, it's a very good game.
We'll
I don't think anyone needs to be told, but...
Yeah, we'll have to play some co-op because if you can just open your game up to like multiplayer.
Oh yeah, you just build like a cabin for like cheap.
The thing is, it's free to build one.
Is it?
I think so. Like, yeah, if you go
it's
to
very
Robin,
cheap and it's like 100 wood or something.
Yeah, it's like 100 wood. It's like nothing. So like I think it's like mainly funded. It's like funded by the Stardew Valley like Friendship Society or something. So like yeah. So if you just want to open your game up, I will come and be a good farmhand for you.
Oh, okay.
But no,
Sure.
I'm glad you're enjoying it, dude.
So yeah, that is my life now.
Spreading mayonnaise to the masses.
Yeah.
Homemade
Min-maxing
mayonnaise.
that friendship.
Min-mayo maxing.
I'm just going to say, if the next time you come to England, you give us a jar of mayonnaise, I'm going to be very disappointed in you.
Yeah, I'm not going to be eating that.
Disappointed, or would you actually be disappointed if I didn't? Really?
Column A. Column B.
Yeah, I guess actually there's disappointment to go around whatever you
I
do.
was
I think
To be
it's safe to
fair,
say.
if you were to give me a gift and it was a jar of mayonnaise, I'd be disappointed because it wasn't the plastic squeezy bottle, because they're just so much better.
That's fair.
True,
So
true.
I'd be disappointed, but not for the reason you expect.
Um.
Anyway,
ah,
that's been basically my life. How about you guys? What have you been up to?
Webs, what have you been doing there?
Yeah, say that again.
Wobs, what have you been doing there?
Do you want to say it at a volume slightly above a whisper?
Wobs, what have you been
Do
doing?
you want to say it not weird?
I didn't say it weird. Okay, Wabbles, what have you been up to? Wibbly wib bap bap bap. What have you been doing? How's your mayonnaise?
No, my mayonnaise is fine.
Are you sure?
I have not been up to that much, honestly, in
Not regarding mayonnaise, at least.
in the last couple of weeks, largely because of being ill,
Very ill.
um,
Deathly ill.
or spending a lot of time painting a single fucking miniature for a competition.
Wait, how long did it take you?
A treasure friend round.
I don't even want to speculate how long it took me.
I would say it took him 20 plus hours.
I don't know if it's 20 plus hours. It
So,
is.
oh, I don't want to speculate. I speculate wildly. No, actually, I think it's more. Okay. Make up your mind.
Okay, I think if I was going to put it to like a 5-hour increment, it was probably like 15 hours. I'm not a very fast painter, so to do that level of detail takes me a long ass time.
Yeah, but it's so good.
So yeah, I haven't got much done. Although Shanus rather kindly gifted us Megaquarium, which is a game.
Speaking of car Sharidans.
Speaking of car Shardens, which is an aquarium building game.
No.
Oh yeah,
Okay.
there's you in that game. There's also Tracer Hair. You get like people wandering around your aquarium, and like occasionally he's pulled me over and been like, "Hey, look, does this hairstyle remind you of Tracer?" And I'm like, "Yeah," because it's literally Tracer's hair. And then there was one where he was this like a white beardy guy with brown hair was stood in the corner, and he was like, "Oh shit, it me."
In like a burgundy hoodie
Yeah. Like,
with
wait.
a side parting, and it's like, "Hey, that's me." And then there was a grey-haired woman that looked remarkably like you as well.
Yeah. So
I think it's all just randomly selected from like a pool
it
of things.
absolutely
But, yeah.
is, but I mean, it's just I guess we're just super generic.
We are generic, so we are made by these automatic systems. But anyway, Megaquarium is a pretty neat little game.
Can you have aquariums in it?
You can indeed.
Can you have
It's-
mega aquariums in it?
It's a little abstracted, so your aquarium exists in kind of an empty void.
Oh.
So you don't see the outside, you just can expand. I presume there is a limit to how far you can expand, but I've
Oh, so
only...
it's like working in retail.
Yes, basically you
There's
exist
nothing
in...
beyond those four walls.
Yeah, basically.
Oh.
And you have to make the tanks, attach all the filters and heaters and things and get things to the right temperature and right filtration level for the fish you want to put in there. You have to make sure that like the fish have the requirements they need, like some of them need places to hide.
Same.
So you have to you put little caves in there for them, or some of them, like they can only be the single one of them in the tank.
Oh, like the fighting fish. Or
Yeah,
like those
but-
fish that nip other fins.
Yeah, things like that. And some fish will grow, some will eat things below a certain level. Some of them are armoured, so even if they're small, they don't get eaten.
Oh god. This boy is too crunchy.
And-
I'm leaving him alone.
And yeah, each of these things require different foods and stuff, so you have to hire staff and put in all the food and stuff, and you have to like achieve various things in each level.
How big is this fish tank that you need staff to fill it with food?
There's more. It's an aquarium. It's not one fish tank.
Yeah, that's what an aquarium is. It's a big
okay,
fish tank.
right.
That's why it's called
Everyone goes and fucking
Megaquarium, not Mega Fish Tank.
looks at it. Okay, but like aquarium is literally just a big fish tank.
No, an aquarium is generally multiple fish tanks.
Nah, it's just- it's giving
I
the
was thinking
illusion.
when you said aquarium, I thought just one fish tank.
Yeah.
I'm probably wrong, and I'm not saying I'm right, but that's what I thought.
I'm probably wrong, and I am saying I'm right. It's one big fucking fish tank.
It's
that
not.
people dump
it's-
buckets and buckets of chum into every day, and the fish just get on with it.
I haven't actually unlocked anything like a shark yet.
Oh.
Because it takes quite a while to beat each level, I found out. So it's one of those sort of games you'll sit there and you'll be playing and you'll go, oh wow, I've spent like 2 hours on this level. Okay, Jesus, okay, that happened. As you know, being people who have been recently playing Stardew Valley, losing hours of your life and not really noticing it.
Absolutely.
Yep.
And enjoying every minute of it.
Yeah, but yeah, it's a fun little game. I've obviously not got super far into it. I'm on like the 4th level. And since
My brain wanted to say the 4th island. Because let's go set up shop on an island and just put an aquarium there.
You could do.
Hey guys, there's some fish. It's like we're literally surrounded by fish. Hey. These are tall fish.
But yeah, it's a pretty neat little game. I can't remember how much it costs, but it is pretty cool. And I wish I had more to say about it, but if you like stuff like Roller Coaster Tycoon...
I was about to say, is it like sort of Roller Coaster Tycoon-esque sort of thing? Yeah.
It's one of those sort of like, sim management games. So if you're into that kind of thing, have a look at it, see if it's the sort of thing you'd be interested in. It does seem that due to the fact that once you've got like more than one type of fish in a tank, and if they have like different requirements, there is quite a bit of depth in making an interesting tank. Because there's a lot of fish that you can't really display.
So can you put like salt water in with fresh water and just have like a really powerful and weirdly like strange like filtration system? So the left side is salt water, the right side is fresh water? That would be cool.
No, because I do not believe that is physically possible.
What? It's video games, Matt, okay?
I've not actually...
Having a weird void, like, with the cemetery, an aquarium in it. I don't know why I went cemetery.
Well, you do get those little tombstone things that you can put in the bottom of fish tanks.
You do. So... Every time we go into the local pets at home, I always eye up all of the fish tank like stuff because they have like cow skull like ornaments, and I'm like, I just want that on my coffee table. It looks amazing.
I mean, I have made tanks that I accidentally put in a fish that was too big, and it did just eat all of the smaller ones. So in a way, it's a graveyard. It does give you like an autopsy report afterwards of like, God. All of your fish got fucking eaten.
Is that all it says? Just all your fish got eaten, you dumb shit.
Basically, yeah.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, I'm getting along with that. It seems like a pretty cool game. I will probably report back next time and say if it holds up once I've played a bit more of it. Only other thing I really have to mention is a couple of minor things about books that I have read.
What books have you gone and read?
I finished the second Aftermath book, Star Wars Aftermath book, which I think were the first books in the new, like...
nice.
Expanded universe stuff. What's the second one called? Life Debt, that's what it's called.
You said Life Death.
And it's mostly about going to Kashyyyk and freeing Chewbacca because he'd been captured.
Silly Wookiee.
And I will say I liked it better than the first one. The first one got a bit meandering at times and went on for a while. But this one was a bit better. It's still really long. And it's one of those things where you're reading it and you're going, this is really long and it's kind of a slog to read through, but I don't know what they could remove. But that was interesting. It did... what was it? There was a character in it who, when describing Han Solo, said, given the opportunity, she would mount him like a turret.
What, and then fire projectiles out of him and take down like aircraft?
Yeah, it was a sentence.
That's a weird sex thing.
It's a sentence that got wedged in my brain for its just weirdness, you know.
It's like, if I ever met Han Solo, I'd use him to brush my teeth. It's that kind of like, what?
See, all it makes me think is that it means that Han Solo has impressive
projectiles,
range, distance. I don't know, of something that he can project out of his body.
He has projectiles at about 300 feet per second.
Oh, well, you see, in the...
hollow points, they fragment on impact.
In Legends material, Han Solo is known that actually his penis was eaten by the Sarlacc.
Oh, no. That's the thing that eats penises of Han Solo.
And he had it replaced with a droid penis.
He did, because they have dongers.
And he accidentally has the pressure set too high quite often.
Oh, so it's like a shower head.
In Legends material, there was quite a lot of masturbation scenes.
Oh, yeah.
Especially featuring Han Solo.
Explicitly featuring Han Solo.
I'm not entirely sure if you're being serious or not.
There's one...
Listen and learn, young'un.
There's one where him and Darth Bane have a wank off.
Oh,
To see who can fire furthest. Darth Bane doesn't realize because it's got like the skin sleeve, you know, that Luke's hand has got. Han Solo's mechanical penis has a skin sleeve. And so Darth Bane doesn't realize that it's
rigged.
It's rigged.
It's rigged.
And so he basically goes, "All right, I give up the dark side." When he is beaten by Han Solo, who fires his ejaculate 3,000 feet.
Yeah, so we can confirm Han shot first.
Han did. Hey. Good. Someone's probably going to be mad because I don't actually remember what era Darth Bane exists in.
Darth Bane is a terrible name.
It is. It's better than.
I feel like it might as well be like Darth Gary or something.
What do you mean, like Darth? To be fair, I prefer Darth Gary to Darth Icky or Darth Sidious.
Yeah.
Or fucking like all these other terrible names.
There's some bad names in the old EU. It has to be said. But no, none of that is true. That's,
all of it is true.
That is
in that fan fiction I'm writing.
That is basically like one of the lies you would tell.
Yeah, Matt, stop telling lies. I don't tell lies.
But anyway, the Life Debt's alright. I will get around to reading Empire's End, which I think is the last one, at some point. Because I just want to see how that trilogy ends. However,
the Empire, apparently.
I started reading a different book, which is a bad thing that I did. I started reading Dawn of War.
Yes, we were sent that.
The other notoriously bad
by
40k
C.S.
novel.
Goto.
Yes.
All the multi-lasers and backflips.
You know, I haven't encountered a single backflip or a multi-laser yet.
Honestly, then what's the point in reading that?
And I'm about 150 pages through the book, and it's like 400.
I remember we were in bed one night when you were reading it, and you turned over and pointed at a fucking phrase, which was like, yes, they stood there and realised that this was the dawn of war.
Yeah, they do name drop, yeah.
I really wanted to throw the book out the fucking window.
It's pretty bad. It's pretty bad. Although, I will say... now, I haven't read the full thing yet, so I assume it will annoy me in new and interesting ways. But so far, I do not believe the book is anywhere near as bad as its reputation leads you to think it is. However, what I will say is that what Dawn of War, the novel, is it's a novel that is the exact level of quality you would assume Black Library books are if you hadn't have read one.
So it's not very good.
Okay.
So you would assume it's basically if like you have never read a Black Library book and someone came up to you and said, "Oh, by the way, there are novels about that Warhammer thing that all the weird people go into. You know, that Games Workshop store? There's novels about that." And how a person would assume the quality that's written to, that's what Dawn of War is. So it's kind of, it's not great, but it's basically just the same as any other like expanded universe stuff, because most expanded universe stuff is terrible.
Speaking as someone who's read like multiple X-Men novels, can confirm.
Yeah, it's about it's maybe it's better than those X-Men novels you've got, but
I think A Kick of the Fucking Nards is better than the books I've got.
What is that? The Cosmic Cube stuff?
Yeah, it's the Chaos Engine.
Chaos Engine,
trilogy.
That's it.
Yeah.
That's the one where there's a character in it who, about a quarter of the way through a book, changes names.
It's not even that. It's literally in the first third of the book. This guy whose name is, let's just say his name is Jim. He's like one of Doctor Doom's lackeys.
I thought it was one of the Red Skull's lackeys.
I can't remember. Whatever. It's because there's three big bad guys. The Red Skull and Doctor Doom are a couple of them. And like the big bad is talking to Jim the lackey, and then you turn the page and it goes, and it's like, oh yeah, you know, so and so said this, and then it goes, oh yes, David nodded in agreement, and you're like, who the fuck is this guy?
Yeah.
Yeah. Halfway through like a scene, the writer just changed this guy's name. And he is like Dave from then on.
Yeah, it took a while.
You're sitting there flipping back and forth going, is there a third character here? What the fuck?
How long has he been here?
Zone out? What's going on? No.
Where did Jim go?
Yeah, no. It's just Jim decided to change his name mid-fucking conversation with his boss. Either that, or maybe that the writer was trying to put across that they are so detached from their lackeys that they just assign them random names.
Oh, there we go, yeah, see? That makes sense.
Now the book's not that well
That's
written.
a no prize they don't deserve. And now I have to explain what a no prize is, but I'm not going to do that. Fucking Google it. It's a comic book thing. You probably wouldn't understand.
But anyway. So I'll read through the rest of Dawn of War, and maybe it'll find ways that will make me think that it is absolutely terrible. But from what I've read so far, it's just fine. It's nothing great. It does do minor things that are very lore not friendly, that would annoy people who really care about that kind of stuff, but I've sort of mellowed so much on...
For instance, the sort of people willing to buy books around the already quite niche game.
Well...
But I think it probably would annoy me more if I cared more about Eldar, because there's a lot of stuff about Eldar that I've read and I'm going, I'm pretty sure that's not true.
Those Eldar and their multi-lasers.
Yeah, so there's stuff like there's regular Eldar Guardians that have...
Guardians.
That have the stuff from other aspects they've been. So one of them has a striking Scorpion's helmet and stuff, and one has the Howling Banshee's helmet still. And it's I'm pretty sure you're not allowed to keep those, but maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. And it's one of those things I don't know much about it. The things that I read and go, I'm not sure if that's true.
Don't know enough about that to dispute that.
Yeah, I don't know enough about it to dispute it because Eldar's one of the things in 40k that I just have never really paid too much attention to. And yeah, there's a lot of little things with the Space Marines that you're I'm not sure that doesn't sound right.
What, they go to McDonald's? What's your problem?
They are also. Do you remember in the intro of Dawn of War? Because it is broadly speaking a retelling of the events of the game.
I just want to do the shouting, but yeah.
No, don't do the shouting.
I told you so that I wouldn't do the shouting.
But you know the guy in the start of the first mission, Brom, his name is the Imperial officer who shoots a couple of his own men for running away.
Because of course.
Because that's
just
the
what
Imperium. In the story, in the actual novel, all of the Marines are a massive twat to him for no reason.
Well, I mean,
they're all just super dismissive of any of his concerns and just tell him to fuck off when he's got a relevant thing, and you're like, I like Gabriel Angelos way less in this book than I do in the game. Because he's way more of a dick, as is, what's his name? Isidore is the librarian's name? I always forget his name.
Can't remember, yeah.
But yeah, that everyone's just kind of a dick to poor old Brom, and I feel sorry for him. Also, it does do this thing that always annoys me in 40k fiction, when a section is written from the perspective of humans, or Eldar, or anything that's not orcs.
Yeah.
And they talk about orc things using the orc names for them.
Oh, yes, there's an orc truck spelled with 2 Ks.
Yeah, so, yes, the boy was reaching for his big shooter.
But, no, the orc was reaching for its weapon.
And you say that. It's a bit like how in the Heresy books, they barely ever even call them orcs. They call them greenskins.
Which I love.
And they don't ever say what they never say what orcs are saying, because what in the games you interpret as football hooligan talk.
Well, that's probably how they talk in their own language that no one can understand, really.
That's them speaking their own language, orcs.
It's like in MGS3 how the entire game is in Russian, but it's in English for ease of viewing.
Because it's explicitly stated that not all orcs speak Gothic. I think it's very few of them do. I think Blood Axes occasionally learn to speak Low Gothic.
Well, don't they trade with humans?
They'll occasionally trade and then betray them. And maybe work for them and then betray them.
Yeah.
Because orcs. But yeah, so having actual Marines their internal dialogue referring to orc things by their orc names just always seems really weird to me.
Yeah, I get what you mean.
It's a tricky one, isn't it?
Yeah, because I always feel that you should just refer to them if you're from the orcs' perspective, then you can refer to them by the orc names. But if you're from the Marines' perspective, don't do that, because it makes the whole thing seem childish,
I mean, orcs are pretty childish, but they are kind of the comic relief of the setting. Yeah. So. But if you're trying to tell a bit more of a serious story, then maybe veer away from that.
And you can totally, orcs can totally be scary if you don't use that stuff.
Oh yeah, no.
Because when you get right down to it, there are a giant genocidal race who
stinky mushroom boys
who are impossible to stop, will constantly be breeding, and they live to fight you. So they're
literally just green football hooligans.
Yeah, they'll kill you because that's fun to them, and that's enough of a reason. They'll wage entire war on your entire race for that reason alone. They can be written as scary.
Yeah, basically Tories.
Definitely UKIP voters.
Yeah.
But anyway, yeah. I'll read through the rest of the book, and presumably next time I'll say, actually, at the end, it got super shit. I agree with every bad thing anyone's ever said about it.
Your life. Yeah.
It has destroyed my life. Childhood ruined. Oh my god, I can't believe that there's a woman in Star Wars.
I hear one more person go, oh my god, childhood ruined, I will literally walk to wherever they are, pull out their tongue, and make them lick their own eyes, and then make them eat their horrible eyeball juice-covered tongue.
It's a bit extreme, but...
I am so fucking sick, because it's like, oh, this thing has slightly changed. Childhood ruined. It's like, if that one thing predicated a decent childhood to you, you had it pretty good. Fuck you. Also, just because She-Ra is, like, a new thing doesn't mean that your childhood is ruined.
Yeah.
Because no one liked She-Ra, you fuck. But whatever, I'm gonna stop complaining about everything.
But yeah, that's all I have to talk about.
Cool.
So, Snipe, what have you been doing apart from being very ill like me?
Apart from being very ill and hanging out with friends very much. So much.
You've done fuck all, haven't you?
It's been a tough couple of weeks. I've been ill, and mental health has been a little bit shonky. And I've been weirdly ill in different ways because apparently I can't just be healthy anymore. Maybe it's the gummy bear breakfast burrito I made. I don't know. Probably not. No man can say.
Is that a real thing?
What, gummy bear breakfast burrito?
Yeah.
It's a breakfast burrito, Matt.
I don't think it's meant to have gummy bears in.
Okay, but if you put it in a burrito and you have it at breakfast, anything can be a breakfast.
She didn't actually eat this, by the way.
No, I've just decided that this is a thing.
I just felt that needed to be mentioned.
Okay, I wasn't sure.
What does that say about me? I can mention having fruit roll-ups wrapped around gummy bears, call it a breakfast burrito, and you honestly don't know if I actually ate that or not.
Let's just say you cultivate an aura about yourself.
That is gummy bear breakfast burrito.
Anyway, what have you actually been doing?
I've been playing a shitload of WoW. I finally unlocked the Lightforged Draenei and Void Elves.
Nice.
Loving my Lightforged Draenei, by the way. Although I have that boost left over when I bought Battle for Azeroth, that if you use a boost on one of these allied races, it means you can't unlock Legacy Armor because Blizzard are fucking dicks. Well, no. Because the people in charge of Blizzard are fucking dicks and will literally just try and milk as much playtime out of you as possible.
Wow, yeah.
So it's annoying. So I just went, nah, fuck it, I'm boosting anyway, I don't give a shit. So I'm leveling a Lightforged Draenei on my RP server, and I'm having a lot of fun with that. When Longfang was here, we binge-watched Castlevania Season 2 on Netflix. That is amazing.
It's very, very good.
It is so good. I was worried about it not being anywhere near as good as the first season, but it is so much better. Because it's actually not in the weird kind of 1 hour and a half, almost pilot season.
Yeah, it had 8 episodes, I think.
It had 8 episodes, which could have honestly all just been put into one feature-length movie, and it would have probably flowed better. But no, the acting is still fucking top-notch. The writing is still fantastic. The characters still so much chemistry. They have so much individuality to them. It's just, Peter Stormare is in it.
Peter Stormare, he eats and fucks boats.
And that's just Peter Stormare, not the character he's playing.
He plays a character called Godbrand.
And he's all like, I eat and fuck boats!
I mean, he doesn't actually say that. It's like a character. The way you're introduced to the character is someone saying to him, "It's look, Godbrand, if you can't eat it, fuck it, or make a boat out of it. You're not interested in it." And he kind of turns to everyone else and goes, "What? I'm a Viking. I like boats." Because he's a Viking vampire.
Yeah, a vamp king.
Vampire.
Don't hurt yourself.
No, it's too late. I'm hurt. But yeah, no. Few new characters being introduced. Obviously, mild spoilers for the first season. If you haven't seen it already, please do. For the next 10 seconds, I'm going to be spoiling something. At the end of the first season, Alucard appears, and it's just Alucard, Cypher, and Trevor fucking going through season 2 being awesome and having some amazing chemistry. And just the ending of season 2, honestly, I wanted to cry. It was so fucking perfect and bittersweet. And like I love the writing in it, because even the most evil character, you can kind of see where they're coming from. Apart from, there is one character called Isaac, who I personally think is amazing, but I know that Longfang had a bit of trouble with his motivations. But I mean, which are valid. But I was still like, nah, I still really like the guy.
They do an interesting job of taking characters that are ostensibly evil and giving reasons for why they are the way they are. So it's not you understand them even if you don't agree.
It's not just, I'm going to be an evil mustache-twirling villain because I just am. Everyone kind of has their own agenda and their own reason for doing what they do. And it doesn't feel forced, it feels natural, and it's just, it's so good, and it's funny. It's just fantastic. It's gory as fuck as well, again. Because, I mean, the first one was pretty gory too, I guess.
What I also appreciate is how, if you are someone that likes the Castlevania game series, you will constantly be noticing the little things they're referencing from the games. I mean, hell...
Was it like Leon Belmont?
Yeah, he's from...
He was referenced in there?
Yeah, well, they go to, like, a place where there's a bunch of, like, artifacts and stuff, and you're looking in the background and going, well, that's just one of the fucking weird snake dragon things. Like, oh, there's just holy water on the shelf there.
Yeah.
Like, oh, there's the weird little cross thing that they throw.
Is important question that everyone wants to know the answer to. Is there wall chicken?
No.
They do find... Kind of. It's not.
To be fair, in the actual game, it's not wall chicken.
It's a pork chop, I believe.
It's a pork chop.
Wall pork.
Wall pork.
But I think that is referenced by finding a hidden item in a wall.
Yeah.
So...
there's a lot of subtle reference in there to kind of prove that the writers know their source material really quite closely.
Yeah.
Which is... another reason why I love it so much.
They actually have, like, during one of the big fights, they have the music from Symphony of the Night in the background as well, which is a nice touch. Even though, like, I'm more of a Castlevania, like, 1 and 3 guy.
You're a bit of a purist, yeah.
That's just the ones that I like more than, like, the later, like, Metroidvania style ones. But I do appreciate that, they were referencing a lot of old things, but not, like, really making it tedious. Just there were little things in the background for the people that would notice.
Yeah, they weren't literally just, like, shining a spotlight on it and going, remember from the video game?
Yeah, it all made sense in the context of the show.
Yeah.
It's just, if you knew what they were kind of nodding to, then it's just like, ooh, that's the cool thing.
Yeah, so no, it's fucking fantastic. Can recommend. Not much else I can say without spoiling everything about it.
So just go watch it.
Just go watch it, yeah. Can recommend, it's great. And it's also, like, when Trevor is being shit, he's basically my D&D character, Nathan.
Yeah.
He's a drunk idiot. So that's always fun to see as well. So on the topic of anime, I also watched a few episodes of a different one called Samurai Champloo. Not shampoo, it's Champloo. Champloo.
Is there any good reason why it's called Champloo? Because that's not a word, I don't believe.
Okay, it's anime. What do you want from
fair,
me?
fair.
That's all the reason it needs.
Want? Yeah. I was super into the first episode, which is kind of, like, really weird, actually, because all the music is, like, hip-hop. So it's, like, it takes place in, like, Edo period in Japan. But it's like, it starts off with a disclaimer in, like, you know, that graffiti kind of font. It's like, this is not a completely historically accurate portrayal of Edo era Japan. And you're like, well, I mean, it's anime, so I didn't expect it, but thank you. And then the next title card pops up in the same text. It's like, yeah, like you care, whatever, just sit back and watch the show. And I'm like, oh no.
The show came out in, like, 2006, I believe.
It feels like it came out in the 90s. It's that fucking cringe.
Because I remember looking it up for you and, like, going, it's from a while back, so some of it's quite dated.
Yeah, so it's like, the intro is just, like, bad rap. It's not good. I mean, I'm not a massive fan of rap music anyway, but I know I know...
It was not good. I think it would be something that would probably be better in its natural context, but as a theme tune,
as a theme tune, it was very flat, and it was just kind of like, okay. And, like, the basic story is there's two separate samurai. Well, there's, like, a Ronin, and there's another guy who just acts like a samurai. I don't know if he is. Well, he's, like, the scruffy dude called Mugen. And then there's the fancy samurai Ronin called Jin. And there's the girl waitress called Fu, and they upset Mugen, the scruffy boy. He upsets the local lord, and I actually posted a tweet about it because it fucking made me pissed off so much. Because it was doing pretty well. I was quite into it because it's just a bit freaky and weird, and the action scenes are good. They're quite violent, but I kind of dug that because I'm one of them filthy millennials who likes violence and stuff.
Yes, that's a millennial trait. Yes,
apparently. But yeah, and then Fu is like, oh yeah, you have to promise to help me find the samurai that smells of sunflowers, and they're like, okay, we promise if you get us get us off death row, and she does. And then they kind of leave, and literally Fu's personality is, remember the promise I made you? That's literally her personality. I think all anime suffers from this to a greater or lesser extent, of just characters being archetypes instead of really having a personality.
I think, to be fair, I think that occurs in most media. You're right.
I'm being unfair to anime. It's just, I think I really notice it in anime. Because whenever I try and watch an anime, it's not usually one someone recommends me, because everyone knows the great ones. And even Sailor Moon was the new one is really bad for it. Sailor Moon Crystal is really bad because it's a lot more like the manga, which it was literally Sailor Venus likes boys, Sailor Mars is a shrine maiden, and that was basically where the personalities ended. So yeah, but no, it's got that horrible kind of thing. And obviously, the Ronin is he's wearing glasses, and he's the glass adjuster archetype of characters, where he's really good, but he's really straight-laced and really serious. And then there's the scruffy guy who's just always getting into fights because he's a scruffy boy and being rude and stuff. And so they leave town. Fu gets really drunk, and they basically carry her on a wagon. And the scruffy guy's looking down at her, and he's like, "Huh, stupid broad, I'm gonna rape you." And I was like, "Oh, okay. Is this what we're doing?" Because that's really fucking gross.
Yeah.
And I've just basically gone, well, I literally suddenly grayed out. I can never like that character ever, because that is so fucking gross.
Didn't the next, because didn't you watch it for an episode after it, and the next one was all about stuff in a brothel, so it was just wall to wall.
Literally, it was just oh, if you're a woman, because any kind of stuff, any kind of problems in this show, time period, whatever it's trying to say, is if you're a woman, everyone is going to sexually assault you, every single person. Oh yeah, I'm trying to sneak in to bust out these two samurai, and of course the guy there is a fucking rapist. And it's okay, right. Okay, I can understand, maybe a couple of people being really gross, but, literally every fucking person. And then it's oh, this woman is being disobedient, chuck her in the brothel. The slave brothel, and it's right, is that the only thing you've got?
Yeah, I think...
You're not... Okay, really? Right?
It sounds like it's got that problem where even if what they're doing is, say, accurate to the time period which it's set in, given the wider context of the anime doesn't have a great track record with this kind of stuff,
yeah.
It makes it
even more uncomfortable.
It makes it a bit more uncomfortable than if it was just a random show that just happened to have this stuff in it.
Yeah, no, absolutely. It's just... after that point, I was just kind of okay, I'm going to try, because maybe that's what the story needs. Maybe, because, something... You can have uncomfortable things in your story. It's just, I'm not going to cheer on a guy who literally thinks that, oh yeah, I'm just going to rape this girl. That's fine. I'm not going to be on that guy's side. And not even in an anti-hero way. It's no, he's just a fucking cunt. Just gonna say it. So I was okay, I'll keep pushing through, and then it's just, they bump into a woman who's got her tatters basically hanging out, and she's all "Hi there, I'm massively overly sexual. Do you want to do a fuck?" I literally did a tweet on this. And the scruffy guy's yes, I am going to do a big fuck with you, even though I have escaped the death penalty, and the local guy is desperate to catch me and kill me because I left him without an arm. I can't see a problem with this, let's go do a big old fuck. So she's okay, I'll get my tatters out and then do a big fuck with you. And then she spits a bunch of poison in his mouth, and she's like, God, you are such a fucking idiot. And he's like, who could have thought? This woman who literally just approached me in the woods with her tits hanging out was gonna hurt me. Oh no. And then he has to fight this big guy who's like, apparently he's so hideously ugly. He's literally just like got a milky eye and like is big. And half of his face has a bit of a burn on it.
Oh no.
Yeah, it's like, and he of course likes Fu, who's been kidnapped, because of course she fucking has. And it's like, oh no, I'm not gonna hurt the girl because she was the only person who saw past my hideous exterior. And it's like, it's, what? No. You're just a big bald guy with a fucking glass eye.
That reminds me, one day I should watch that movie Beastly.
Oh, you mean, I was like, oh, you like, I'm so ugly and terrible because I'm pale, skinny, and I have tattoos.
Yeah, it was a reinterpretation of Beauty and the Beast, except the guy just had, like, facial piercings, a couple of scars, and some tattoos.
Speaking of someone who has facial piercings, a good few scars, and some tattoos, fuck that movie. Apparently I'm the most hideous creature.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, it's like, I was like way more disappointed with it than anything else, because it's like the fight scenes were fantastic, the art style is really good, and you know, I was kind of digging it, and then it started getting really gross with like that kind of stuff, and I was like, oh, okay.
It can put a sour taste in your mouth.
Yeah, it's like I've honestly lost count the amount of anime I've started. Like, there was one which is like takes place at like this special like super school, because every anime, like nearly every anime takes place in a fucking school. Because yeah. And
I mean,
it's like this brother and sister, and they're like really close, and the sister basically starts like rubbing up against him, and he's all like, "No, what can you do when your sister's so sexually like attracted to you?" And I'm like, okay,
yeah.
Fuck this.
Yeah, that's like the number one.
This makes me feel physically sick.
That's the number one way to make me check out of an anime in seconds is, oh, brother and sister who kind of want to fuck. Like,
yeah, it's, and like the what really fucks me up about it is, I mean, I think incest is one of the most disgusting things in the fucking world anyway. Honestly, it makes me feel physically ill just talking about it. And like, they get to school and all of his friends are mocking him, going, haha, your sister wants to sit on your face. That's so funny. Your silly sister. And he's like, oh, stop it, guys. And it's like, no. I would literally remove their teeth, grind them up into a powder, trick them into thinking it was some kind of fucking narcotic, make them snort it, and then tell them they snorted their own fucking teeth.
you know,
It's fucking disgusting.
You know, I'm feeling that you've got some things you're working through, given the elaborate nature of these things that you're coming out with today.
Nah, it's fine. I'm just really angry about incest anime.
Yeah, I think you should probably move on to another topic.
Yeah, so yeah, I wouldn't recommend Samurai Champloo, even though it has a very fun name where it just looks like somebody just couldn't be asked to spell shampoo correctly.
Like they typoed it really badly and just went, it's fine.
Fuck it. That's fine. It's better than like herbal essences for
that's
samurais or whatever the fuck they were thinking. I've been playing a new game. Well, I
Yes.
played a new game. When Longfang was over, we streamed some Resident Evil Revelations 2.
Oh, yes.
Which is actually a lot of fun. I really like that game. We tried to stream it like a couple of weeks prior, but it only has local co-op, because this is a game that's come out in 2002. Apparently. That's the worst part about it, is that fucking shit. But no, like, yeah, it's really cool. If anyone has been living under a rock or doesn't care about Revelations, or Resident Evil, rather. Yeah, they're not Drama Matt here. He knows, he has an intimate knowledge about Resident Evil. Frighteningly intimate. Sexually intimate. Just I'll remind everyone else.
Just for everyone else.
Because
Just
everyone here
remind
knows, apart from
everyone
Ed,
else.
because he's terrible. Resident Evil Revelations 2 is it's kind of like an episodic adventure, 2-player, because that just seems to be what Resident Evil is doing now, excluding 7. It was made after Resident Evil 6, which you can tell because they fucking learned. They learned what not to do, because Jesus Christ was 6 awful.
Well, they learned to just put Barry Burton in things, and that makes them better.
Yeah, Barry Burton's in it. It's great. But the way it goes, it's a fragmented kind of story system, and like in the way that like the old games would work, where you had like Claire A, Leon B, or whatever. So, which is basically like a lot of asset reuse. So there's a lot of backtracking. The way they do that now is the first team goes in. So you have Claire and Moira Burton. Moira Burton, the way she says her name, which is Barry Burton's daughter. They're on this island, they make their way through, they solve a bunch of puzzles, they get out to a different point. Then the next session is Barry arriving at the island 6 months later, and he basically bumps into like this 10-year-old girl called Natalia. And then he goes and he looks for Moira, because you sent out like a distress signal in the Claire campaign. And every character, each of the campaigns, they have their own kind of quirks to the play style. So Claire and Moira refuses to use firearms. Like, she just won't use guns. So she's like the torch handler. So she gets like a crowbar where she can kind of defend herself in a very rudimentary kind of fashion. But Claire is basically, she's point man, she's got all the guns. I played Claire and it was awesome. And, I think it was fair for Longfang to play Moira, seeing as that's the most Scottish woman's name available. And, yeah, you just work your way through, and, like Moira will light up, like she can find hidden objects and stuff like that. And like, so you kind of walk around with, like, Moira being completely defenseless, and you kind of keeping her, like, check on her back, and she'll point out certain items to you, and maybe there's only certain things that she can do because she has a crowbar, and like, one of them will, like Moira will be picking a lock and you'll be guarding it. It's like that kind of thing. It's a real kind of, a lot of interesting teamwork
asymmetrical
involved.
Co-op.
Asymmetrical
would be, I guess,
co-op.
a way of putting it.
Yeah, which I think this game does perfectly. So with Barry and Natalia's camp, obviously, like, Natalia is an 11-year-old girl, so she doesn't use any firearms. But she has this really cool ability where when she's crouching, she can see, like, a mist, which is basically a monster. Like, she can see monsters through walls. I think Barry's, like, was probably the most fun asymmetrical gameplay of the game, where, like, you have, like, your friend crouching, and basically they'll point out, like, okay, I can see there's a monster behind that door. You don't know where it's facing. It's just like a weird, like, puff of mist to kind of signify that there is a monster there. It's orange standard, and it's red if they're aggroed. There's actually a really fucking cool point, which was so tense and awesome, where there's just invisible enemies. So, like, you pop out in the field, and you see a thing on a roof, and you pull out a gun, and it's just not there anymore. And you're like, oh shit. Now, these things are instant kills. So if you walk into one, you are dead. That's it. You have to restart at your checkpoint. So we're both, like, kind of basically crawling through the grass, and, like, Longfang's keeping an eye out for these things. He'll spot one, and he'll be like, okay. And then basically we hide in the grass, and I just sit there and line up a shot. And it's so tense. Because you, like, for your more powerful weapons, like most games, you don't have much ammo. So I've got my rifle out, and I'm just trying to zero it with kind of, like, figuring out where Longfang is actually pointing, and like that kind of thing. So you're trying to, like, you kind of like clambering over each other, trying to be quiet, and then you take the shot and it's down, and you're like, oh, thank fuck. There was one really tense one, because you fight them basically in, like, a really enclosed apartment building, which is the worst, best thing ever. So, like, I pop round, and, like, there's one on the other side of this door, and I open it, and it just starts charging us, and I just unload, and I just manage to take it down as it reaches us, and it basically falls onto us. It was so fucking intense. It was amazing. I was just like, shit, this is great.
From what you've told me about it, it does sound like, as you say, they learnt a lot of lessons from what didn't work from the co-op of Resi 6.
Which was honestly the majority of it.
Well, yeah.
Or just Ada's campaign, because holy fuck, I could cry, it's so terrible.
But no, it does sound like, yeah, like I say, the idea of co-op where you both have very different
so you find
abilities.
You find out how you mesh with each other and play to your strengths. I think it gives a nice kind of underlying level of tactics.
Yeah, it's an interesting idea that would be a lot nicer if it had, like...
Oh, if it had, like online multiplayer,
yeah,
it would be my favourite fucking game. I would say, like, I am talking about playing with a friend there, which will alter the gameplay quite a bit.
Oh yeah, everything's better like that.
Yeah, every game is better with a co-op partner, like playing with a mate. It just is. So,
or more accurately, you'll have more fun.
You'll have more fun playing with a friend. That's just the way it is. So that bear in mind if you're interested in it. That is a bit of a tip in the scales. So I haven't played it single player yet. You've played some single player.
Yeah, I played it for a video a little while ago.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's fine. But then I'm no big Resident Evil fan.
Yeah,
So
yeah. Well, I am. So yeah, but no, I enjoyed that a lot, and it's kind of sad that Longfang's gone because I want to play more games with him, and I guess hang out with him as well.
I mean,
I can hear him calling me a dick right now.
I mean, I could play the Resident Evil with you.
You want to play Resident Evil with me?
Well, if you want to play through it in co-op, then I'm happy to play it with you.
Oh, that would be really cool.
Oh, did you not even think to ask?
Well, no, I mean, I know that Wib doesn't particularly, he's not as into Resident Evil as I am, so I didn't want to, pester him with it.
It's fine. I will take this bullet for the team.
Okay.
I'm intrigued to see how it plays in co-op.
It is a lot of fun, co-op.
So yeah, I'll run through that with you at some point.
Thank you. But yeah, apart from that, I'm watching a shit ton of Brooklyn Nine-Nine because season 5 ain't out. Yeah, nice. Smart.
Toit.
Did I tell you that I said that to my therapist and he got so confused? I was like, oh yeah, smart. And he was like, he stopped with a blank expression. He was like, I'm sorry, but I'm not actually sure what that means. And I was like, oh, okay. But the thing is, I think he's gotten used to me now. So he's just he knows that I come out with weird shit, and he's just he will wait patiently for me to finish and then ask me for a translation.
What does any of that mean?
It's like, okay, let me give you a rundown. I will need a spider diagram. It's like I was talking about Discord and the mods we have, and he's kind of sat there looking a little bit puzzled. And then he went, we can't be thinking about the same mods, because he's an older guy. And he was like, do you mean mods versus rockers? I was like, no, I mean moderators. And he went, oh, that makes way more sense. But yeah, no. Yeah, I'm just really pissed off that Brooklyn Nine-Nine Season 5 won't be on Netflix until February next year at the least.
And
Season 6 is halfway through.
Yeah.
It's oh, fuck you. Fuck, I'm gonna have to go because I desperately want it back because I love it so much and it's so perfect and it makes me so happy.
It's okay.
It's not okay. But yeah, that's pretty much all I've been doing.
Okay.
Thank you for asking.
It's fine. You're welcome.
Thank you.
So I guess we are then left with any questions that we might have. Do we have any questions?
Yeah, we have a couple.
We have at least one.
We have at least 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
Okay.
Of assorted quality.
Wow.
Okay, you judgmental fuck.
I guess we should probably try and answer this because it's 7. We should probably try and answer them relatively quickly then.
You just want a podcast under 2 hours.
Yes,
that
always.
Would be amazing.
Yeah, okay, fuck the Perriers. Yeah, what's the first question, Drumblebum?
Right.
And more importantly, what is the email address someone should send their emails to?
Only drummermatt at snipeandwib@gmail.com.
That is indeed the email address. Now, Matthew, say the questions.
So, first up, Bloodwolf Koji.
Hello.
Have you guys had a chance to play the new Warhammer 40k game starring just the Mechanicus versus the Necrons?
No, because we've been really sick.
Basically, we've been saving it to make a Snipe and Web play of. I have played the first 5 minutes of it to make sure it works. It seems quite good, but that's all I can say.
I didn't even know if he went tabletop game or computer game.
It's
I have heard nothing
game.
of this apparently.
It's basically 40k XCOM but with a Mechanicum.
Oh, cool.
It seems pretty good. And we, I don't know if this is available at all, GWs, but we got upgraded to the Omnissiah edition by a free little card, so we saved a $5 there.
Nice.
We just made a purchase there and they were like, here, you get the free DLC, upgrade, whatever, fuck off. Shardens.
I don't think that's how it went. But yeah, so
how it went.
we'll be playing it soon is the answer.
Excellent. Also, in honour of her new novel coming out next year, I'd like a waifu rating of this sparkly lady. And I think we've mentioned her, but we don't think we've ever given her an official waifu rating. Celestine.
Because it's me.
I'm
you. Celestine. It's me, yeah. I would give myself a 420 out of 10.
Blazing out of 10.
Yeah. I think you mean 420, praise it being the Emperor.
See, I was going to give 10 out of 10, but I think you may have just ruined Celestine forever.
I have not.
She's worse now.
Oh.
She was a 10 out of 10, but now she's a 9 out of 10. She gets one knocked off.
How about a 69 out of 10?
I'm not sure what you're implying there.
I'm just saying that's the sexy
I think she's
number.
offering some sort of bribery for you to increase your score.
I'm really not.
Well, maybe that could bring it up to a 10 out of 10. Who knows?
Okay, I'll let you play with Drama Matt's jingle if you get put up to a 10 out of 10.
I don't know. It's covered in mayonnaise. I'm not down.
Okay, but that's his personal homemade mayonnaise.
Yeah, I know.
Artisan good.
Artisan good.
I do not want any part of Drummer Matt's artisanal mayonnaise.
Now that's a lie and you fucking know it. Email onlydramamat@snipeandwib@gmail.com for Drummer Matt's artisanal mayonnaise, homemade.
Apparently just an egg and no other ingredients.
You just magic jars out of fucking nowhere.
It's just an egg in a jar. Matt, what's your rating of Celestine?
I mean, she's pretty cool. At least a 9 out of 10, I think. No one's perfect. Let's give her a 9.
Okay.
Wow.
Next up, I'm going to butcher this amazing town name. Guivesa Ui?
Yes.
Ryan Mateus Codner.
Griesvesa Ui.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, I realised I hadn't said any of the town words out loud, I don't think, so in my head I know how they sound.
I have that problem
I've
all
never
the time.
put them into vocal form. Their first comment was that they're glad that someone agrees with them about Space Marines and being the ridiculous bias, because all of their friends refuse to accept it. And they're just like, oh, someone else agrees with me.
I wouldn't have thought that's a contentious opinion.
I didn't
half
either,
the
but...
factions in the game are Space Marines, and relatively speaking, there's 1 million of them tops, total. Yeah. So there's more Guardsmen many times over than Marines, but Marines represent most of the game. So
even though Marines, in canon, really barely fucking get sent out and shit.
Yeah, there's not many.
They're shock troopers. Right? They're the elite boys.
Yeah.
They're not standard forces, and I think a lot of people don't quite get that.
Yeah.
But whatever.
But anyway, they're glad that we agree. On to their question, which I think we might have inadvertently answered, but as someone who's
artisanal mayonnaise?
It is not. As someone who has dove down the Warhammer rabbit hole and am now looking to read some novels, what books do you recommend I read, / which are your favourites?
Dawn of War by C.S. Godot. It's really good. Descent of Angels, that made Remley's rage quit that book. He hates that
don't
book.
read Descent of Angels, it's bad. I would say if you want a nice easy one, or nice kind of things to start with, it's a little difficult for me to say because I started reading, the first ones I read were the first handful of heresy books, and they seem pretty good, but they are obviously set outside of the 40k setting. They're in 30k. But generally speaking, people tend to point towards things like Gaunt's Ghosts, Eisenhorn. I've still not read Eisenhorn, but I've heard it is good. A lot of
better
people,
than the game.
They tend to point to the Dan Abnett things generally. But yeah, it's difficult for me to say because most of the Black Library books I've read have been the heresy books. I can recommend going and reading the heresy books, but obviously they're not set in the current timeline. Currently listening to an audiobook of Dark Imperium, which seems quite good, and that would be a good one probably to start with for the new stuff, because obviously it deals with the creation of Primaris and the like. Okay. And Gilliman coming back and being like, what the fuck have you done to my Imperium, you idiots?
That's a pretty good description, actually.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah.
All right. Moving on. Isaac. Sorry, I've got the same throat thing as you had.
Oh, no.
Yeah. Isaac. I'm going to be running an Imperial Guard D20 one-shot for my friends.
Okay.
Any recommendations on what I should put them through? I'm thinking
Correct.
something like Saving Private Ryan type stuff.
I would say put them through something that is absolutely harmless, but seems like it's got a bunch of red flags, and watch them paranoid flip out.
Yep.
But that's just me.
I mean,
that's not specific for any particular. That's not specific for an Imperial Guard game. That's just all
okay. End with the big bad being a Gretchen. It's just who just wants to trade, and who has basically been pretending that they're a human by like more and more extravagant ways, or like maybe faking hollow, like hollow projections and stuff like that. And he's just the guy who just wants to just make a bit of money. And accidentally brought on a Chaos incursion, because Chaos always have to fucking show up.
Actually, it could be quite fun to have them, to have your guys, your party, deal with what seems to be like just a standard kind of orc invasion, but the orcs start disappearing, and then it turns out actually it's a Grot Rebellion storyline.
Yeah, and they're just like a bunch of orcs, a bunch of Grots like standing on each other's shoulders and stuff. Grot Rebellion storyline. There you go.
And you just end up with like the Red Gobbo at the end.
Yeah.
Being like the big boss and like a huge, because obviously you used to like goblins and their equivalent in like fantasy of just being
little sniveling shits.
Nothing.
Whereas they're like so much smarter than orcs as well, so there's so much more you could do with that.
Yeah, like you could. That could be fun. That's just you don't feel the need to actually do that.
Oh no, do whatever you like. It's going to be interesting.
That's me thinking for 30 seconds and thinking that's a good idea. I'm sure if I thought about it for 45 seconds, I'd go, that's a terrible idea.
It's good. Smart.
All right, move on before you think that then.
Yep.
Acidus, husbando/waifu rating.
Hit me.
Blizzard Entertainment Incorporated.
You mean
0.
Activision Blizzard? Or Blizzard Activision? Honestly, people who work there, amazingly sweet people. The actual, like, the head honchos, who obviously people who don't play video games and just want to make literally all the money and fuck everything else. Minus Skull. Fucking 0.
Basically, waifu rating for capitalism, 0.
Yeah. Capitalism is the worst waifu. We do not support abusive relationships here at Snipe and Wordplay.
Which is why it's really difficult to support Overwatch in any way, shape, or form.
It really is, because at its core it's a beautiful piece of art, but unfortunately there's the overshadowed by capitalism. Which is literally what ruins everything, but still.
Yes. Yeah, not a fan of Blizzard as a company, but I'm not a fan of many companies, or indeed any of them.
Yeah,
so.
And as a company, we don't mean people who work for it, we mean, like, the people who own it, who sit there and have no fucking clue what they're doing.
It's more the soulless entity that
is
the
soulless
corporation.
entity that is the corporation that we hate.
Okay.
What about you, Drummer Butt?
Yeah, likewise, pretty much.
Yeah, okay, fair enough.
Yeah.
Good, smart.
Related question, seemingly. Reek the Nangard. What are your guys' thoughts on the Warcraft 3 remaster / regame?
I'm interested to see how they manage it. I mean, Warcraft's story is busted as fuck anyway.
Was the story good back when they were individual games, or is it just?
I don't know. I was 9 years old.
Okay, because I was wondering if Warcraft's story only started being terrible when WoW happened.
Because it's like everyone suddenly is like the most important person, and it's impossible to write a coherent fucking story, and everything has to be like centered around raids and new zones. That's a fucking ask. Like, you know, I do rib on Blizzard's like storytelling for like WoW, but I mean that is a gargantuanly impossible task to have a satisfying fucking story for everyone, and like because everyone is sitting there either going, "Oh, Burning Crusade was better," or just being happy with it. So it's a tricky one. But like, no, I remember Warcraft 2 wasn't super heavy on the story. Warcraft 3 was. I really liked it as a little girl, but yeah, like. Playing it back, I don't know how I would perceive that as an adult. I mean, it's a perfectly passable story. It's got betrayal, true love, sports, marriage, all that kind of stuff.
Everything you need.
Everything you need. And yeah, it's like the ending is satisfying. It's the last fucking bunch of levels are difficult but satisfying. Didn't quite get into the Frozen Throne because I didn't get that expansion until I was an adult and could afford it. And I was like, nah, I'm not a fan.
I mean, I guess, like...
all I want is that I still want to be able to, as a night elf, put on God mode. Oh no, as an undead player, put on God mode, go have one of my banshees possess a build unit, walk them back to my base, so I can have I can have 3 of, like, other races' heroes. Which was my favourite thing to do.
Yeah, I used to do that in Total Annihilation Kingdoms, which was the fantasy version of the Total Annihilation series. Oh. And there was it Harpies? with one of the factions and mind mages with one of the other ones who could take people over.
You just take over build units and you're like, now I have everything.
Yeah,
it's
that's
so
what you
cool.
that's what you try and do is take them over. You could do it in the original Total Annihilation as well by a weird workaround, which was by what was, I guess, a DLC unit, although it was literally just a file you downloaded from their website and it added an extra unit that would bring units back to life from the wreckage of them. But you could do it to enemy units, so if you blew up one of their build units and did it, then you could grab one of their build units and rush it back to your base.
Nice, I like it. No, that's like, if they don't have that in it, then I'm not buying it.
I never played Warcraft 3 except for a little bit of it about maybe 6 years ago. And it was fine, but I don't have nostalgia for it.
After playing like Dawn of War,
good.
like it was a bit more simple. Like you had to select like the selection thing was kind of annoying for units, whereas in Dawn of War it was way more sensible and like, oh, this is a squad. So you select one of them, you select like all 8 of them or whatever.
Well,
and I thought that was fantastic because you just didn't have that in Warcraft 3.
Well, I think that's the thing. Like, as with a lot of games that are forerunners in their genre, they like establish trends and define tropes that then later on get elaborated upon by other games, and so quite often you'll prefer the games that elaborated on it. So like for me, when playing Warcraft 3 a few years back, I was like, oh well, this is just the same as in Dawn of War, or this is just the same as in Star Trek Armada, which are like my two frames of reference for strategy games post Total Annihilation apparently. So yeah, it's not always a fair comparison, but you know, it's you can't help but do it.
Yeah, I will say I know they won't have cheats in this, which is why I'm not going to be particularly interested. I want them to have cheats, and I want them to have the map builder.
You'll probably be able to pay extra for those things.
Oh, knowing like the gaming climate, it'll probably be like...
This is going to be my answer for it. I was like, it might be good if it's made by people who work there who just liked the original. Yeah. But it won't be. It'll be made because they want to make money off it, and it's going to like strip everything nice out of it. Probably.
And then like, if you pre-order the super collector's edition deluxe online version, which will cost you like 150 quid, then you'll get a nylon bag. Oh, the shade. But then you'll have access to like the night elves or something.
Okay, I can't believe I'm the one to say this, but I'm going to pull back on the cynicism a little bit and say ultimately we are just speculating. We don't know, and it's possibly a little unfair to say that of a game that has not come out yet.
But
at least it's not mobile only. Anyway, can Snipe rate the robot chicken as a husbando?
I don't know, because like you only really see it in the beginning, like the intro.
I think
and
so,
it's like a cool kind of cyber chicken that's a bit like, what's the word? It's a bit Arnold Schwarzenegger and Terminator. So I'm probably gonna go with a solid 7. Solid 7 out of 10.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because he's cool, because he's got the cybernetics and the big like Terminator eye, which I think is really rad.
What I'm always shocked by is how long Robot Chicken has been going on for.
Yeah, is it still going?
From what I can see, let's have a look. Oh no, it has been cancelled.
Oh.
Okay. Oh.
It has finally been cancelled, apparently. It ran from...
Apparently 2005 to present, but it's been cancelled.
Okay. Fuck it, I don't care enough to look at this. Okay. Robot Chicken has been cancelled or it has not.
Yeah.
Delete as appropriate.
Yes.
Either that's an instruction to either whoever's editing this or just the listeners in general.
Yeah. Just forget whatever we said that was wrong. And remember the things where we were right.
And funny and awesome.
Remember the parts where you agreed the fuck out of this.
And verbally handsome.
Cameron? They've got into Scar and back into 40k and D&D by listening to the podcast and watching your videos. Also,
I'd like to just be the first to apologise for your financial situation after getting back into 40k.
No waifus or husbandos, but they do have a would you rather question.
Okay, good.
Okay. Would you rather be stuck having to play 40k with the Rogue Trader rules, or D&D with only the first edition rules?
Rogue Trader.
Rogue Trader.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh god.
Yes. Original D&D seems
Horrible.
Yeah, no, I'd go for Rogue Trader. I think it's because I at least understand how Rogue Trader's rules work in an abstract, as opposed to first edition D&D rules that scare me greatly.
Yes.
Yeah, they look. I at some point I want to sit down and try and get my head around it, but then I'm just like, what's the point?
Yeah.
I will say, at some point, I will play a game of Rogue Trader, whereas I'll probably never play a game of first edition D&D. So
yeah, fair. Final question.
Okay.
Shanus.
Hello.
Snipe.
Hey.
When are you going to do an audio drama of My Immortal? In the anime voice, of course.
Oh god, I was really considering it when it came, like, because there was like rumors of it being not like legit. I heard rumors of it that it was just this big elaborate troll, and I was all for doing that. But then it turns out that apparently no, that was just someone's earnest attempt at writing. So I'm like, I can make jokes about it and everything, but I think just like sitting down and reading like the whole thing and making fun of it is like a bit too mean. Because like I'm a writer. It's not that my first writing was fucking terrible. It's probably about as bad as My Immortal. But so I kind of feel a bit mean.
Yeah, to be clear, it hasn't been confirmed that it's legit. It's just that the person that came forward and said that they had written it sort of as a joke
seemed a bit fucking.
It sort of, that does not actually seem very likely.
Yeah.
So
while I would like to do that, I feel that it would be kind of a bit mean. Because, yeah, we all got to start somewhere. And while, yeah, I do genuinely think it's so fun and stupid. Because it's just... Honestly, I kind of wish 50 Shades of Grey had been like that.
What? Not just bad.
Not just absolutely abhorrent. Now, I can make fun of 50 Shades of Grey, which was actually based on a Twilight fanfiction referred to as Master of the Universe, because... Duh. I can make fun of that because that is a published piece of literature, and I use that term very loosely. It is something that this person is charging money for. I am allowed to criticize rather than just... I mean, you're allowed to criticize any piece of art that you want, but I mean, I feel more comfortable at criticizing that because it has been held above other pieces of art and said to be fantastic, and I can disagree with that. Whereas
also,
My Immortal is just stupid and dumb and a really fun romp of haha, I remember when I couldn't write either.
Also, you can take the piss out of 50 Shades of Grey as well, because E.L. James, or is Erica Mitchell, I think her real name is?
Erica Mitchell, yeah.
She
is an abhorrent human being.
She does not seem like a nice person.
She is not nice.
Yeah.
No.
Although, it should also be noted that when it comes to 50 Shades of Grey, also... be careful with the mocking of it, because it does kind of boil down to sometimes just kind of mocking women for actually being a bit more open with their sexuality. So,
okay, but at the same time, that is brought out in such a way that it is not just... It's like, I appreciate that can be construed as mocking women for basically being sexual beings, but it is also a deeply troublesome piece of fiction that glorifies abuse, psychopathy, and sociopathy, and perpetuates the massively damaging stereotype that people who are into maybe not so strictly vanilla sex are emotionally damaged, which is so fucking harmful. So I'm gonna rag on it for that.
Oh yeah, I'm just saying there's some people who mocked it for reasons that were less than... Germs. Yeah, less than valid, shall we say.
Yeah. So I'll mock it because it's badly written. It glorifies abuse and all sorts. So that's why I'll mock it. Yeah. Not because it's something that a bunch of women think is sexy.
Yeah.
I mean, I would say that there are plenty of other things out there that are way more healthy and better to maybe get your rocks off to. But I mean, hopefully that was just an entryway into a lot of women going, wait a minute, no, this is fucking garbage. I'm going to go seek out some good written erotica. And now they're spaffing over all the good written stuff.
They're giving out their mayonnaise to everybody.
I hope so. Because everyone deserves to just spread the artisanal mayonnaise everywhere.
Is this really a thing now? Is this going to be a podcast, like, reoccurring joke that artisanal mayonnaise means cum?
Artisanal mayonnaise is cum.
Yeah.
That sounds almost religious. Artisanal mayonnaise is cum. You know, like that Jesus guy? What?
Wib.
Yes.
What is your favourite non-Godzilla kaiju movie?
Well, that's a boring question. I wanted to talk about cum.
Okay, Wib, which is your most likely film to make you produce artisanal mayonnaise that is a non-Godzilla kaiju movie?
Thank you. Was that so hard?
Yes, it was.
Oh.
I would probably say
Kind of the point.
Gamera 3 Revenge of Iris.
Oh, wow. That make you squirt the mayo?
It does make me squirt the mayo.
Oh.
It's cool. It's the
This
third
can't be a
of...
thing. This can't be a thing.
Mayo squirting is now a thing.
You started this, Drummer Matt.
How was this min-maxing friendships?
This is your filth.
Mayonnaise should not be involved in your friendships.
Well, no, I mean, if you're all above board and agreeing, I think it can be.
Okay,
If
fair
everyone's
point,
on the same artisanal mayonnaise recipe page.
But if I can drag this podcast kicking and screaming back to the question at hand. Yes.
Be my guess.
The third Gamera movie, Revenge of Iris, I believe it's called. It's been a while since I watched it. Is one of the best ones, and like just offhand, that's probably one of the ones I'd say is probably my favourite. Although, if I was to actually recommend one for anyone to watch, a non-Godzilla one, it would be Gamera the Brave.
Is that the new kind of one that was more aimed at kind of like more of a family film?
If by new you mean 8 years ago.
New to an old woman like me?
Actually, no, it might be even older than that. But
Has it got little baby Toto in it?
Yes, it's the one with Toto.
Yeah, that one is a good movie. It's a good entry point. It's a good just movie that you can watch with people who maybe aren't into kaiju movies.
Yeah, it's basically a good like family movie that just also happens to be about giant monsters.
Yeah, and also Toto is adorable.
Yeah, he is adorable.
He's a little baby Gamera.
But if you want Gamera being a badass, then yeah, Revenge of Iris is a better one in that regard. Actually, just to be fair, the Gamera 90s trilogy is just really good. Can recommend that if you're wanting to expand beyond Godzilla.
Oh. So what about Pulgasari?
Pulgasari is a bad North Korean propaganda movie.
Yeah, I know.
And is better than you would expect it to
But
be.
not as good as you'd hope.
But nowhere near as good or as wild as you'd hope it to be.
Yeah.
Good. Very last question, and I really don't want to ask because it's going to drag the subject back to... on a scale of dry to spongy, what is...
Oh, fuck!
God.
Oh, dang!
What is the state of your new couch after Matt comes over to, in inverted commas, visit?
Well. Oh, yeah, like Longfang was like sidling up to your lovely couch mistress. So you might have to fist fight him at some point.
I mean, I won't do the fight, I'll just do the...
Dude.
Oh.
The couch, I mean. I need to make the couch on friendly terms with me again.
Matt, do not fist that couch. Jesus
I
Christ.
ask it nicely. Or rather, it asks me. So...
How does it ask you, Matt? How does my couch ask you to do sexual things to it?
We've got, like, a connection.
Okay.
You can't hear that. I
The
just tapped my forehead,
answer
but...
is beyond spongy. Sodden is the answer.
Squelchy. It's like it's been left on the corner of a fucking council estate during the worst season of rain Yorkshire has ever seen. And also people have been walking past just ejecting genetic packages left, right and centre.
Positively dripping.
We have to put a tarp down. It's terrible.
Covered in almonds. It's terrible.
Covered in almonds.
Hellmann's.
Oh, I thought you said almonds. That makes way more sense.
It's in Hellmann's mayonnaise.
Oh, not as in the nut.
No, not... Well, I mean, he nut, but...
He nut. Drama Matt comes in and just like...
He comes
And that's
into
the
them.
end of
He
the
does.
podcast, everyone. Goodbye.
No.
Thank you for listening.
You don't have the authority to do that.
And apparently I do now.
Oh, shit. Well, okay.
Well, then, goodbye, everybody, I guess.
Yeah, don't forget to sling that artisanal mayonnaise, provided everyone's on board and on the same page. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.